Luxury brand Hermès has appointed a new women's fashion designer, rocketing an unknown name into the spotlight. Nadège Vanhee-Cybulski will make her Hermès debut designing the fall-winter collection. And here with the details is WSJ fashion reporter Christina Passariello from Paris. Hi, Christina. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, good to be with you.
So, Christina, what's behind this shakeup at Hermès?
Well, the Hermès' designer, who's been in place for the past 4 years, stepped down earlier this week to focus on his own label. And so they've brought in this new designer to fill his shoes. It's a designer for the women's clothing line at Hermès.
And what can you tell us about Vanhee-Cybulski?
It's her first time that she's going to be a head designer, so it's sort of a big gamble on Hermès' part to bring in somewhat of an unknown name. She's worked at Celine and the Row and Martin Margiela in the past, but this is the first time she's really going to be in the limelight. And
she's going to be exclusively working for Hermès, correct? Is her appointment part of a larger trend among big luxury labels to have designers committed exclusively to them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Hermès designer who stepped down this week stepped down to focus on his own label. He'd been doing both Hermès and his own label, Christophe Lemaire, at the same time. In fact, the two previous Hermès designers, who were Jean-Paul Gaultier and Martin Margiela, also both had their own labels at the same time. So for a long time, this was an accepted trend in the industry. It was like, you know, you'd sort of have your label on the side and then you'd work for a big house. But increasingly, the biggest design houses don't want to do that anymore. They want somebody who's going to be really dedicated full-time to designing for these big brands. I mean, they're really big businesses. For instance, Louis Vuitton, which is the biggest of them all, last year got a new designer, replaced Marc Jacobs with Nicolas Ghesquière. And I mean, Marc Jacobs for years had been doing both houses, but he was shuttling back and forth between Paris and New York. And you know, Nicolas Ghesquière now is fully dedicated just to doing Vuitton.
And do we know anything about the style or the artistic vision that Vanhee-Cybulski might bring to Hermès?
I mean, obviously the last two houses she's worked for in particular, which are the Row and Celine, are really high-end, they're really high-end houses with like some of the top prices in the category. And at Martin Margiela, it's really minimalist. So there, you know, she could have sort of quite a clean but very expensive look for Hermès, which would go very much with that house's sort of overall aesthetic. It might not be it shouldn't be any different in price points from what they've currently got, and maybe not a huge departure from what they have right now with Christophe Lemaire.
All right, it'll be exciting to see what she brings to the luxury brand. Christina, thank you so much for that.